across metro Atlanta.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Cobb County, where a neighborhood is now
where you stay a step ahead of severe weather.
Our storm risk has now been upgraded to a...
And the only place where you can verify fact versus fiction.
11 Alive can verify that claim is false.
11 Alive News at 11 p.m. Where you end the day ready to take on tomorrow. 11 Alive Morning News.
We began with breaking news this morning.
Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Storm Trackers, doing this on Facebook Live. We are also streaming. I'll be looking at two different cameras here tonight, as we are also going to be streaming on our OTT platforms, our app at 11 Alive, also 11alive.com. I think it's going to be on YouTube, Roku, Fire TV, all that fun kind of stuff. But I just wanted to take a moment to talk with you guys about what's going to be happening here over the next couple of days, where we do have a severe weather threat. Actually, 2 rounds of severe storms that will be moving our way. One of them starts tomorrow and will be mainly during the mid-morning to late morning into the afternoon hours. That's going to be the first threat that we have. Then we have another threat that is going to be on Wednesday. That one is mainly going to be late afternoon and into the evening hours. Now, this severe weather threat is very conditional, and what I mean by that is that a lot has to happen for these severe storms to develop. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center has put us, I'm going to break down all of this for you coming up in just a second. Storm Prediction Center has put us in a level 2 risk for tomorrow, level 3 risk south of I-20, and then on Wednesday, all of North Georgia and Metro Atlanta are in that level 3 of 5 risk. And then down to the south of us is in a level 2 risk. So it's really getting our attention. It is something that we have to watch, but there's still not a guarantee that it's going to be 2 widespread events. But I want us to be ready for anything that can happen there. I know you're seeing a lot. I'm getting a lot of questions about things that people are hearing, saying, hey, I saw this, I saw that, I heard this, I heard that. What do you think is going to happen? So this is just the time. You guys know, I just try to talk. I'm just real with you guys. I don't try to hype things up. I just try to tell people what we think is going to happen, and then all the conditions that are needed for a situation to happen. So that's what I want to do with you guys right now. And it's going to take a little bit. I just want to chat with you guys for a while. I see a lot of comments and questions coming down at the bottom of the screen where I'm doing this on Facebook Live. So hold off with me for just a second here, because let me walk through this. And again, I've got the pollen thing going, so please forgive me for coughing, clearing my throat, swallowing, taking a breath. I'll probably have to drink some water in a little bit too. But let me just break down for you what we think is going to happen. Give you the timeline, the potential impacts, the threats, everything that's going on with this system that's moving our way, okay? So first off, here is the system that we're watching right now, and you can see those storms back into Texas, and those have been prompting severe thunderstorm warnings. We have tornado watch in effect, also severe thunderstorm watch in effect, and then as you get in closer, let me zoom in a little bit closer here. Y'all can see a couple of those yellow polygons. That's where we have the severe thunderstorm warnings. We don't have any tornado warnings with those right now, but this is just the beginning of the system that is going to be moving our way. So let me show you the severe weather threat for tonight. We are actually fine here in the Atlanta area and North Georgia area tonight. We are not expecting any severe storms while you're sleeping, all right? That is going to be mainly out to the west. You see in Atlanta, we're not even in the light green color for just general shower. So nothing coming in tonight, but you can see the level 1, level 2, and then that large level 3 risk that goes from Texas over into Louisiana, also into parts of Mississippi. That is the level 3 of 5 risk, all right? All of that moisture and all of that rain and some of that instability is going to be coming to the east tomorrow. So here is what happens with that severe weather threat tomorrow. We see the level 3 risk that is generally south of I-20. It doesn't really extend all the way up to I-20 here to Atlanta and on the west side, but it does over on the east side. That line down to the south is where we have that level 3 risk. I really feel like tomorrow's severe weather is going to be more likely in central Georgia and south Georgia. Based on all that I've been watching, I've been looking at the instability, the shear, the energy helicity with all of this, and it really looks like Central and South Georgia will be the area that will be more favored for strong thunderstorms and a better chance for tornadoes. However, when I say that, I think it's going to be stronger down to the south. We still, though, will have a chance for a few more isolated, stronger storms here. In the Atlanta area, we've got that level 2 of 5 risk. The level 1 risk is up to the north of us in North Georgia. So if you're wondering who's got the best chance for strong storms, Central and South Georgia. But we will have some storms here. Some of those could have damaging winds. Some of those could have heavy rain. And then we're also talking about a low risk for some tornadoes that could happen here tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the timeline for what we're watching tomorrow and the threats that we have for tomorrow before we get into the Wednesday outlook. All right. So tomorrow's risk is going to be mid-morning to around lunchtime and into the early afternoon, as it's going to be moving through our area really from west to east. So 9 to noon, you're saying northwest Georgia moving into some west metro counties. 11 to 3 is when we'll see that heavy rain, thunderstorms possible here in the metro area, and some of those could be strong. 2 to 5 over to the east of us, and we're going to be watching some energy potentially redeveloping in the afternoon hours to the east of us as this is exiting, where some of those storms could be pretty strong here over to the east of us. Hopefully after it gets past like Madison, Monticello, Eatonton area, hopefully it'll get through there before it could potentially turn strong again. So that is the timeline for tomorrow, all right? From mid-morning through west and northwest Georgia into the metro Atlanta area, and then on to the east of us, we're thinking, 4 or 5 o'clock, and then exiting and moving away. So someone just said, what is the line of central Georgia? When I'm saying central Georgia, I'm talking roughly Macon, Columbus southward is what I'm talking about with the highest risk for severe weather tomorrow. Roughly Columbus, Macon southward. But again, we could see some of those stronger storms here, but I don't think there would be as many. That's how I'm seeing it based on all the models that I've looked at, everything that I've looked at. But still, I want us to be prepared for the potential for some stronger storms to develop here tomorrow. Tornado risk is on the low end, but it's not out of the question. And again, that potential for some damaging winds too. But I think the strongest part of that tomorrow will be central and south Georgia. All right, so here's a look at what we're watching for Tuesday. Talking about those threats, I really feel like the highest threat is going to be, and I'm sorry y'all, this is taking a second to load up. You see my reflection there. That probably wasn't the best reflection of my backside. Higher risk for heavy rain coming in tomorrow, moderate risk for some strong wind, and then a low risk for tornadoes. And then also we have a risk for hail tomorrow too. I think that hail risk may be a little bit higher on Wednesday. But again, so this is not zero. It's also not very low, just low risk for some tornadoes, excuse me, that could be here tomorrow. Again, that's a pollen cough, okay? Sorry about being all stuffed up with the pollen. All right, so that's the Tuesday threat. All right, let me walk you through the timeline of this. All right, let me get to the timeline here. So again, I've seen a lot of comments, questions coming across. Hold on, let me just walk through the whole scenario. I've been on 8.5 minutes now, all right? Let me just keep on rolling here where y'all can see. Tomorrow morning, all right, this is at 7 in the morning. Where's my water? Here it is. 7 in the morning, we're dry. We're just going to see clouds moving in, okay? Then, as we get to the noon hour, all right, there we are at noon. All right, let me back this up and we'll walk through it more hour by hour. So that was at 7. Here we are at 8. There's 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30. Here's that leading edge coming in to north and west Georgia, 10 to 11-ish, all right? Then let's keep on moving through pretty quickly. This is 11:30, 12. Here we are at 12. These storms coming into the Atlanta area around lunchtime. And again, with these storms, there is that potential heavy rain, damaging winds, isolated tornado possible, but we don't think there'll be a huge risk for that here in our area tomorrow then. Now, let me take you to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. That heaviest of the activity moves east quickly. Still some storms though, from Athens down toward Thomaston. This is at 3 in the afternoon. Lingering rain here in Atlanta, but starting to taper off a little bit. But it's going to be late afternoon in this area here over to the east of us, as I mentioned earlier, where we could have some stronger storms that develop there too. Then that pushes out. Really by tomorrow night at 5, a lot of this will be ending. We should be okay really for much of the evening hours on Tuesday night. And then we get into Wednesday, all right? Wednesday will be round number 2 of the potential for strong storms here. And that will be later in the day, all right? Now I know, again, I'm watching you guys on this camera, our Facebook Live people right here in this one, so that's why I'm kind of looking back and forth here. Noontime, still okay, maybe just a couple little showers around. But it's when we get into the late afternoon and especially the evening hours with the actual passage of the cold front, that is when we will see the potential for another round of storms. Now here's another interesting part. We don't think the rain tomorrow will be the rain on Wednesday will be as widespread as what we have on Tuesday. Y'all saw on the map a minute ago how widespread all that rain is going to be. It's going to be a little more spotty, but the ones that develop could be very strong. All right, so let me walk you through that. So this is noon. Here we go. 3:30, 4, 5 o'clock. Still not a lot here on Wednesday. But this is the actual front coming in later on Wednesday, and we'll watch some additional storms developing ahead of the front Wednesday. All right, there's the front. Additional what we call discrete cells happening ahead of that. And then we go through. All right, here we are at 8:30, 9 o'clock. See this line? As I mentioned, not as widespread rain, but in some of these individual cells, that's where we could have, again, some of those stronger storms that roll on through. Then continuing on here, this is through 10, 11, midnight. Still a couple of lingering showers there. We really think that would be tapering off overnight. And then moving out by Thursday, we'll have a quieter weather day. Braves game Thursday night looks fine, looks dry. And things should be okay for Thursday night. Then when we get into Friday, Saturday, we've got just like a 20% chance for a shower, but we've got colder air coming in this weekend. We're talking about lows in the 30s, Saturday and Sunday morning, with high temperatures that'll be in the 50s, we're thinking on Saturday, Friday actually, and Saturday, and then back to the 60s as well. Everybody's telling me what medicine I need to take. I'm sorry, guys. This is just pollen. I usually don't get pollen until the end of the season. But remember a couple of days ago, we mentioned that the mold spores were high. That's when I usually have an issue, when the mold is high. I don't know what it was in the atmosphere that day for the mold to be high, but that's why I've got this right now. And so sorry that you're dealing with me coughing, but I'm just glad I could be here. This weekend, I pretty much stayed in the house almost all weekend. I wanted to be outside so badly, but I had to be inside because of the pollen. So, all right, so that's where we stand. All right, with that. All right, so now I showed you the timeline for those storms. Now let's talk about our risks for Wednesday. We are in a level 3 risk, level 3 of 5 risk for severe storms on Wednesday. And again, that would be late afternoon, mainly into the evening hours, we think, when that would be most likely to be coming through. When you have a level 3 risk, that means that the chances, well, let me show you. I've got it right here. This is our first time that I can recall this season that we have had a level 3 risk. It's called the enhanced risk, level 3 of 5. Whenever we have this, it means that numerous severe storms are possible. They could be a little more persistent, they could be widespread, and they could be intense. All right, so that's what we're talking about here. But that again is still very conditional based on the rain and storms that we have on Tuesday that could kind of it depends on if that's going to prime the atmosphere or not, or kind of take away some of the ingredients of what we would have on Wednesday. All right, so there are still a lot of conditions, and that's why we will know more each and every day. Like, we may not know a lot more about the specifics for the Wednesday stuff Wednesday late afternoon and evening stuff until Wednesday morning. We should know a lot more about our atmosphere by then. All right. So just know there's still a lot of conditions that we're watching here with this system, but I'm just telling you what I see happening right now based on the model data that we have right now. All right. So that's what we're watching with those risks. Was there anything else I need to show y'all? Let's talk about rainfall. We could see some impressive rainfall amounts. We're talking through both systems through Wednesday night. The purple color here is indicating 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain. There may be even some little isolated spots that get more than that. Where you see the blue over the rest of North Georgia, that's where we have 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. So let's say 1 to 3 inches of rain possible between this system that we have coming through. All right. So that's what we have. I've been talking for 15 minutes already, and I haven't even answered any questions yet. Let me get to your comments and questions. Now, when you ask, I just went through 15 minutes of an explanation, and I know that I'm going to get somebody saying, well, what about my city? What about my town? Well, we just talked about that whole thing, and if you missed it, I'm sorry, but you can go back and look at this when I'm done. But let me just get to some specific questions y'all have. I'm seeing a lot of you give me advice on what to take for this cough. This is something that I'm used to. I get this in the fall usually with ragweed. And in the springtime I get it too, but this is just happening a little bit earlier this year for me, and I hope it gets better. I actually have a physical tomorrow that times out perfectly. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow from a physical, whatever that I already had scheduled. So I'm hoping that my doctor can kind of tell me something to do with this stuff too tomorrow. So, all right. Let me show you. Somebody just asked for the tornado parameter thingy. I like that. This is the significant tornado parameter. This is based on the high resolution rapid refresh model. Sorry guys, I'm so sorry. This is the significant tornado parameter. And usually this is the high resolution rapid refresh. So this is going to be not going through Wednesday yet because I don't like to use the STP going beyond 24 hours because there's just so much that could be, that could change with it. So this takes us through tomorrow actually, and it shows that really low risk on the south side. See the gray color? And I had mentioned that I'm going to be watching east of us tomorrow afternoon for maybe some development that could happen there later tomorrow afternoon. But again, this kind of goes along with what I was saying, that I really think that tomorrow's tornado risk is going to be higher, more into central and also into South Georgia. All right, so that's the significant tornado parameter. Again, we'll have a little more higher resolution data coming in tomorrow as we get closer to it. All right, let me get your comments and questions. Michael says, is coastal convection one of the potential failure modes for tomorrow and Wednesday? So again, the atmosphere has to be prepared or actually ready. All the ingredients have to come together. We do think that on the south side, along the Gulf Coast region, it is possible that some of those storms can be strong. Whether or not that would rob us of any energy, I just think that a lot of that energy is going to be more central and South Georgia tomorrow. All right, gosh, well, I'm going to just hit these coming in live. There are tons of comments here. Patty says, pollen is getting to me too. It's been really bad on me this year. Feel better soon. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate that. Wes says, I'm so sorry. Please stay south of Hartwell. Joni says, Chris, thanks for the updates. You are the best. Appreciate it so much. Phil says, can you explain the shear on these storms? I read more about shear and a front moving at the same time. So in order to get tornadoes, strong storms, severe weather, you have to have the upper level support. Shear is when you get winds coming in at different directions in different levels of the atmosphere. You've got surface wind, upper level winds. When you get the certain amount of shear, sometimes the winds are unidirectional, but when you get shear, that's when you could get some rotation that could be developing within those storms. I'll go ahead and end in a minute because I know this cough is probably driving y'all crazy. But that's what shear is about and what it means. Travis says, when do we get into our busy season for severe storms in Georgia? Is this the start of it? So severe storms can happen here in Georgia at any time, but the most likely time, the months of March, April, and May, those springtime months, when we see severe weather chances that are a little bit higher. Mitchell says, what's it going to do in my backyard? Buy the bird feeder. I like it. Susan says, thanks for keeping us updated. Mary says, driving from Tallahassee to Atlanta in the evening around 6 p.m. Will severe be done by then? Are you talking about tomorrow or Wednesday? Wednesday, the storms will be rolling through then, but tomorrow the heaviest storms should be over for you and over to the east by then. Heidi says, hey Chris, great to catch you live. Any rain for the weekend? Getting a huge tree root out of our driveway. It's going to be chilly for the weekend. Only a 20% chance for a shower here on Friday and Saturday. I think most of us are going to stay dry. Those rain chances really low. Sydney says, worried about picking up daughter in Buchanan from school tomorrow at 2. I think at 2 o'clock tomorrow in West Georgia. There won't be an issue there. Veronica says, what about winds? General winds tomorrow. Let me just check and make sure nothing has changed with that. Hold on just a second. All right, let me go back to this and check really quick here. Something. Now, of course, when storms roll through, you could have strong winds. But general winds tomorrow. Hold on. Let me check really quick here, make sure nothing's changed with the new stuff. Yeah, it's still showing general winds tomorrow, maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour and higher gusts. It's going to be with the storms that you could have storms coming through. Cheryl says, hey Chris, I'm scared of tornadoes. So glad you're looking out for me. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that. All right, so a lot of repeat questions of things that I've already talked about. Kelly says storms always die. That's not true. They don't always die when they hit the Georgia state line. Some storms die at the Georgia line. Some storms, die but some storms make it through. They don't always die when they hit the Georgia state line. We've had plenty of storms there. Ask the people in Noonan. Did that storm last year die at the Georgia line? No. It was an EF4 tornado. We've had plenty of tornadoes here. So storms don't always die when they hit the Georgia state line. The last few systems that came through here did weaken as expected. They were nighttime storms. We had lost, as we were expecting, they had lost a lot of instability. What we were concerned about, though, is just how fast they would weaken and how soon they would weaken, and if any would still hold together with any strong storms that could hold together. And luckily they fell apart. These will be coming through, the ones tomorrow, late morning into afternoon, will have some heating that could help feed it. The storms for Wednesday will be late afternoon, mainly into the evening after the main heating of the day, where we could have some instability building. All right, let's see here. I'm seeing a lot of repeat questions that I've already talked about. Kelly's talking about spring break in the Panhandle. I have not even looked at weather down in the Panhandle. They're going to have some rain there tomorrow. I'm sorry. I've been focusing just on Georgia stuff. I'm sorry. I can't help you with that. All right, guys, let me go. Steve, you're talking about Torcon. That's something from another channel. We don't do that here, so I can't explain what it means. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and log off. We're about at 9:23. I've been talking for a long time. I appreciate you guys coming in here. I just want to check with you guys. And in the control room, if y'all are listening, when now finished, if y'all can fade to black to make sure that when I get finished. All right, so I think I'm done. Everything's kind of a lot of questions that are still the same here. All right, so for those of you who are just tuning in, and there's a lot of repeat questions here of what we've been doing, but for those of you just tuning in, if you go to my Facebook page, when I finish this, it will post onto my page. You can go back and look at it and see, what all we were talking about and everything. But meanwhile, for those of you joining us, also on OTT, our website, our app, on YouTube, Fire, Roku, all that stuff that we're on right now. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be keeping you posted throughout the next couple of days as these strong storms roll through. So thanks for joining us.
People always say black people don't do that. Yes, here's a picture.
A Different Cry, now streaming on Roku and Fire TV.
11 Alive News at 11 p.m. is where you find out what's happening now across Metro Atlanta.